So, a chairte, fáilte isteach, is me Liz ó Sheolagh ar Sheelagh Nn Gig, agus tá áthas óirín fáilte a chur riamh an t-údar Annemarie Nugent, agus agus an t-aisteoir Bríd Ní Chumhaill don ócáid seo an Sceál agus an Scríbhneoireacht. Agus chomhrá a dhéanamh an leabhar nua ag Annemarie an Seol atá fút. So, Bríd.
Agus Béarla Annemarie, Cloughjordan is Annemarie. Léigh mé an leabharáling seo, an Seol atá fút. Tá sé furfa I mthúram.
Gur míle maith.
Anig sé go mórlam, Cloughjordanas. So, tos ná bhaid an tús Beidir. Tá sé scríofa ag tús agat go hisismothirí Francis agus Óan Nugent nach maran a spreag idir na Scríbhneoireachta agus na Gaeilge mé. Inis doing.
Well, dús chuir siad mé chuig Sceál Gaeilge agus bhí mé an Léigh Linn idir an dáscoil agus bhí an meascáin an Gaeilge in ardach. Agus freisin bhí mórthir I gcónaí scríobh. Agus bhí si gur bhí si do sppraga chun Scríbhneoireacht dhéanamh freisin. Is gná rud a bhí ann agus rud bhile dhéanamh agus bhí leabhar gáthát. Bhí an amarcha leabhar in ardach. Fós tá an amarcha leabhar I mo hasa.
Chreiding sin. So bhí tú léamh a gcónaí, bhíoh tú léamh agus...
Thosaí mé a léamh nuair a bhí mé thart ar trí. Bhí mo bháthair I géirí muine do mo chathair agus cúpla cara leis agus bhí mise a léamh bunós ceann. Mar ní étain é eáil. Bhí sé sé ar an talamh leis na buachlaí agus bhí mise fechant. So tá fós ábalta léamh bunós ceann. Níl ábalta gan a bheith léamh. Má eicem rud caithí mé eile.
Agus céir tú Scríbhneoireacht, ar thosaí tú scríomh nuair bhí tú áil?
Í sé 8 nó mar sin. Is cuimhneann bheith scríomh nuair bhí mé 8 thart ar níos sin. Agus níor scríomh mé mór an bhí an Scríbhneoireacht go hainis. Ach, is dócha nuair bhí mé sna 10 thosaí mé a scríomh. Scéalaí beaga don Sceál agus an sin nuair bhí mé níos sin ná sin bhí mé a géirí rud éigeanta a scríomh cosú le The Lord of the Rings nó mar sin. Agus tharing mé amach na léirscáileanna ach níor scríomh mé na leabhar. So
Mar bhíon uaireanta Arlíonn sin rinne rudaí sin na gochaile gona. So, fuair tú dúis don leabhar seo an Seol atá fút. An nearr tú níos mó faoi sin?
Well, bhí mé a fille ar an Gaeilge de tárá. Thosaí mé a múine agus in dhíos sin thosaí mé scríomh. Agus bhí an tálam, bhí cúpla gearrscéil scríofa agam, bhí an tálam fuair mé áit ar an scéim mentóireachta atá ag first na Gaeilge. Agus fáin tú mentor chun thua sppraga, chun cóirle chuirt. Bhí mé smaoinemh gur chuirdum gearrscéalta dhéanamh ar dús agus an mentor bhí agam bin réaltán ní leanáin agus dúirt lem. Té raig, scríobh an scéal, tá úrscéal agat. Bhí me tar éis insint dí go raibh an smaoinemh seo agam. Agus dúirt raig leat, scríobh an deilrad. Agus thosaí mé, agus gachaile bhí sé rálam cábhfuil an cé chabad de leile. Agus faoiarra chréchnig mé in am chuirteach ar chmórtas san iireachtas ís 30 go dtí 50. Agus bin fiche dó, mí úl, agus mí na saona, well, mí ar fuair mé an chéad dúis don ísgrúpa sin, agus bhín táliam. Bhí áthas an dain arm níor chreid mé é. Níor mé ábalta leirtar fan ó bit.
Rá sé mácht i gáin í Scríbhneoireacht do dhéagóirí?
Sin an sais rud a bhí á léamh agam, fiúnar bhí mé fós a sús. Bhí mé gobar mar leirlaní, agus nuair bhín tú sa t-údar sin is cum le héine céníis bhí mar a fechantar na leabhar pictiúr agus gachaile rud, so níor bhéine spucha astam bhí mé fós a léamh rudí dhéagóirí agus fós san isis bhí mé léamh rudí dhéagóirí. Tá siad siimplí ar chlí amháin gur gá nach mbeidh sé ró casta. Ach fós ag an am céine, caithfí tú scéal maith a bheith agat, chun iad a bheala, chun é a chríochnú. Mar tá sé an éasca a legan síos. So tá sé deacair chlí amháin agus éasca ar chlí eile agus is brala mé. Scríbhann de chuoine fásta freisin ach na scéalta a hagan chum is scéalta de dhéagóirí den chuid is mó.
Take well, údar nó gá a spráid go mórthú le blianta beaga anuas nó nuair bhí tú fása níos nó?
Is na húdar chéine tá mé fós a léamh The Lord of the Rings agus na leabhar faoi Narnia agus bhí mé gcónaí ceappa go mbeadh ag scríobh fantasíocht agus ní hééis sin a scríobh mé go dtí seo. Ach bhí mé léamh scéalta faoi chuoine ar Sceál, Sceál na cónaithe nuair bhíonn tú le chéile le na lándaoine agus tarlaíonn rudaí agus freisin bhí mé léamh fós ag léamh Swallows and Amazons agus is faoin seoltóireacht atá siad san. Agus na léitheanta seo, Diane Duane, Mícheál Cnéile, Mícheál Ruark, Réaltánaí Hain, Anna Hussaigh, agus tá lán tá ní a bhfad níos mó leabhar in Gaeilge inis ná mar a bhíoch ach fós léamh a méile freisin. Duine thosaigh mé le déanaí ná a díbe deagurder. Bíonn siise scríobh leabhar faoi daoine eile DTA freisin. So, yeah, ein rud. Georgette Hare.
Réim Sheelagh.
Yeah, Réim Sheelagh. Agus is bralam na sean leabhar cosúla Agatha Christie, Dorothy L. Sayers, Crairúlacht. So, no, stop me. Rachi mé agus aráigad a rá anamnacha, so yeah. Sceis don séircha sin.
A níor an bhaid isteachar an leabharí hen mar sin an seoil atá fút. So, scéal faoi Beirt Chalín.
Yep. Beirt Chalíní agus bualann siad le chéile ag seachtain seoltóireachta. Nuair bhí mé na déige rinne mé roiint seoltóireacht leis na ródaithe mara le gasóga 8 Calafort Maileanna Manach im Lá Clia. Agus bhí mé ar an Asgard freisin ar feadh de lá. Agus bualann an Beirt Chalíní leis chéile ag an seachtain seoltóireachta. Agus an príomhcharachtar sin riana is tá siad bocht go leor ní lánach í féin agus a máthair. Agus bhí an simicí i gcónaí ach níor bhíonn seanscí a dhéanamh go dtí seo agus fuair sí brontanas ón na máthair tá go raibh an t-aisteoir Críochnathe. So sean chéadú riamh ní lánach an seachtain agus tá sí géirí an méid mó a áil agus méid mó a álam. Agus cuirtear le chéile i mád le Cailín eile, Mala, agus tá anchuid taithí aici. Tá bád ag a clán, ag a teilech agus tá sí iontach ag an seoltóireacht. Agus Bín a verticú 6 nervíiseach faoin na céile dús ach Irene Gamallo agus bín cadreh má atra ach an aibatá acu ná go bhfuil roinnt buachlaí ag churastóibh agus ag spucha astóibh agus tá roinnt mar sí nach fiú a dul raig buíocht siúl. Buachlaí dána. Agus níl gachrad a ggheart leis na tréálathe freisin, so de gachrad sin an tús.
Agus bíon dúláán acu le háir.
Bín a lán dúláán ar muirs tír agus, well.
Clat an sáú gap mé.
Gur mágad. Sin a
So céir eile, blion ceist a géine?
Well, it's all to go away.
Oh, 1 second, mar you want me to microphone it.
It's all to go away. Annemarie, who got it last.
Gur mé mágad, Jim.
Kestmán, an meh alán ascriomh le déanamh a gut, nor chun an leabhar a fuilsiú.
Bhí an chuid ascriomh le déanamh. Fuair mé comhairle ó na multóirí sa chomórtas, fáin tú comhairle ó bhirt i gcónaí, sin ceann den rudaí maithe faoin na chomórtais. Is chomórtais de leabhar nabhailte ar nói. So fuair mé comhairle sin, fuair mé comhairle ó ma bhainteoir, fuair mé comhairle ó bhíála chanéile, agus bhí an tálam, fuair mé seans, fuair mé dábhachtain ón Gaeilge Alín dul go dtí Tyrone Guthrie Centre, agus is áit tein tú ann agus bín túábal a scríomh. Ní léon rud eile le déanamh scríomh ithe leart le daoine eile, scríbhneoirí, aistóirí, dtúsóirí, agus an sin dul arás agus scríbhreis. So is iontach an seansa agus bhain mé an tarbheith as. Agus faoi éire, chuir mé chuig Cloughjordan agus dúirt siad go raibh sim acu ann ach go raibh arm roinnt rudaí a scríomh agus tá agurthóir iontach acu agus bhí mid dul saolas an áil ach faoi éire dúirt sé go raibh sé sásta agus cúpla bouta eile fiúin sin. Is agurthóir profisiúnta mé ach ní féidir leat agurthireacht a dhéanamh ar de dobar hain, tá sé deacair, just ní eicin tú na butúin ar fáigean. Gur mágad, Jim.
Well, tú scríb leabhar eile faoi láthair, Annemarie?
Táim, ag deire an leabhar, tá seansaun a gcóir an dara leabhar. An dara leabhar sa trá. Níor bhiscam chur sra a bhí ann ach sin a tharla. Ag an deire chonig mé go raibh an dara leabhar ann agus deir mar céile go bhfuil an trío leabhar ann freisin ach feic mé do maithhin sin.
Bheadh is aige sin.
So tá mé beagnach ag an deire den leabhar sin. Tá sé sin idir lábha gom. Ach tá leabhar eile críochnathe gom freisin, fiction starúla tá ann, agus tá mé á aiscríomh agus béidir go bhfuithí mé fáilteoir don leabhar sin freisin. Agus gear scéalta freisin, bhí scéala gom in cór imi úl, agus tá cúpla gear scéal ag daoine eile cábhis beidir go bhailseoir iad san freisin nílim cínte.
Iontach, mit snú le iad a léamh. Inistún faoin seola?
Beag an seola ar siúl dé dagnaigh se chuing ar an 7ú lá ag a tríochlog is siopa leabhar Sheelagh Nn Gig, an siopa leabhar atá iontach atá going an seo ag Cloughjordan. Tá an tálainn.
Ag cén am?
Ag a tríochlog am Thrionóna tá sé agrathe ag Liz agus Molly sa Siopalair agus tá tálam gohfuil si da is ionta chunáid í.
Agus cé méid ag Seol an leabhar.
Beg me fantor ag Seol an leabhar réaltán agus beg daoine ann ó chlóir chonacht freisin agus Maharda agus Mahailach ar fad agus táimig sú go mór leis.
Ionfach má. Craig ná míid an tin mún bhfuil tá ceistáil an seo?
Jean.
Scéal agus beidir mé beag an Béarlachas an seo agus just has go mar rá ri gur hahan an leabhar go mórlam chuéis mé i réir agus mar sinnde agus mar chuine ar a dhéon rintseoltóireachta mé héin. So bhí si me gom éisceile ag go déire san buochas an leanach sin buochas le áitice bhfuil dúirtúine sé go ráhfuir an ascard agus. So an raibh an Gaeilge got mar sin or bhí tas a déanamh nó seoltóireachta mar tá na focail tá folklór, tá sé go hintach really an seoltóir agus I mean the hoog sé isteach mé or it's it kind of hooked me in cha mé rám ar bhí cuimhní iontrach go gom féin ar bheag an seoltóireacht dhéanamh. So yeah.
Well, tá sé iontacha sin a chluisteáil mar bhí mé 6 nervhíiseach faoin an raibh sé i gcearta gom. Ach na ródaí mara i Maiile na Mánach agus na gasóga is buin gathangach a bhí ann. So dúsáide mar an stór focail sin. Chomh maith sin fuair mé folklóirín beag faoin seoltóireacht agus bhí cúpla leabhar léite a gom a bhí in Gaeilge bunithe an seoltóireacht. So bhí mé beagnach cinnte go raibh sé a gcearta gom. So tá sé deas sin na chluisteáil.
Tá sé mar dúirt mé ag curcail córáné go raibh an leabhar simplí agus ní masla bhíonn sin ach
Éasca le léamh.
Éasca i léamh, agus gur lean sé raibh bhí mis ag casan na leanach agus mar sin de, ach tá ceisiúháin ort cadág na lads ar an Ián.
Oh!
Féidir ná féidir a rá. Droganna nó.
Rá bhfuil mhór ceirtlaise sin cider. So bhí sé sin ar an Ián agus ceap méid go raibh beidir cúpla vape freisin agus bia. Ní drogaí go dtíireach ach vapanna cinnte.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Anyway, Cloughjordan Annemarie.
Nílam, well, deach a chéin rud a bheith ann. Níl lista denta gom den rudí a bhí ann.
Bheith sé ansimúil dan mé grúpa dégóirí going an seo. Agus an leabhar léamh, sa scoil na agus i dúirt.
Tá mé ag smaoine faoi dul chuig roinnt Gaelscoileanna leis an leabhar beidir más féidir le mé a agrú. So beidir go bhí mé a seolas uthe nervhíiseach faoi sin.
Mar bíomh an bheith ag éisteach leis an dégóirí, dá mé
Mis freisin.
I caint faoin ná agus, mar sin. Gurmágad.
Gurmágad, Jean.
Ceistáil an seo?
Don Gaeilge leart Comárdas.
Gurmágad.
An rud a barlam ná bhí mé abalta a léamh. Níl an leabhar go leor léite agam anna féin ar an seo. Ach gá questionna. An ceapan tú gur ceapan tú for air, but bhí úna orm an bhéid bullying atá ann de dégóirí atra féin na buachalaí ag spitting mar sin. Agus nuair a léim leabhar i Béarla inis den dégóirí tá an bullying an freisin. Ach, sin ceistúháin.
Bhí a gcónaí agus tá fós agus ní gá gur buachalaí i gcoinne cailíní a bheith ann tá cailíní fós a chuiranta freisin. Agus an rud ná Is dóilm go bhfuil an verticú sais uthach sé sin autistic beagáín. Níor ahan mé sin go dtí go raibh sé leiscríomh agam. Dúirt mé le réaltáin, ceapan go bhfuil mála sais uthach beidir lite, agus dúirt siise, tá verticú uthach nar ahanfuéis sin. Sin a bhí scríomh agam, níor ahan mé go dtí sin. Agus uaireanta bín nuair a sin na tarlúint leis na cailíní agus leis na buachlaí agus bin an scéal a tháinig chum mar deartha.
Agus an ceist eile faoin titl. Cad é an míú an seol atá fud.
Well, tá mé chun dul raig níos déanaí agus é sin dul tríd sin i Béarla mar Thorlín ach sais an slí atá tú a dul. Sin é. Sin an legan cear ar éanos. Gur mágad.
Sin é, mar sin. Ok.
Ceist tadar.
Ceist Darren nach Béidir.
Leitse gom sa go fáil mar good tána dhéan nuair duine si go mbeadh clia rinne seachtainna. Bhí misisiú tar éis thosnú ach an sin ní raibh sé an sa gabhadh leisceil. Tá mé chun filleithe ar go luath. Ach rád an sort an ceistas mátá gomsan ná an conas an dos níon tú leis an scéal nó an dos níon tú leis na parsanna agus tú ag leanúnta raig an sin ag scríomh. Conas sort a sníomhan tú le céile ferbert na barsannachtaí den bhir mór character a cohaire agus bheith cinse dé fós go bhfuil an plotte dul raig agus go bhfuil go leor acríochta sa scéal. Conas a sníomhíonn tú an dárad sin le céile?
Well, de gná tagan set up home.
Plotte?
Ja, an plotte is dócha. Well, an tús, an séamh agus tús an scéal a hagan home. Bhí mé ag smaoineh faoin seoltóireacht, agus bhí mé ceapa go mbeadh scéal ann. Agus an sin smaoinigh mé faoi seoltóir faoi le. Agus an sin tháinig an rud ar fad. Agus nuair bhíon scríomh tagan rudaí amach nach raibh mé súló. Agus sin an tlí an oibríonn sé domsa. Tá sam tá daoine eile agus bíon an plot ar fad leagathe amach, bíonn is go céhéad capital a bheith ann agus ní mar sin a scríbhim se. Nuair scríbh mé an scéal starúil, bhí mé leart le fear faoin bandéim, agus bhí mé léamhrod faoin seandálaíocht sin archaeology. Agus chuir mé an dárad le chéile agus bin scéal. Agus an sin thug mé sús le carachtar. So, difriúil ga chán, ach tagan plotaí chum go héasca is dócha.
Smaoineh plotaí?
Smaointe, yeah, an tús.
Tús plotaí, yeah.
Yeah, no, uaireanta an lár. Conas aimseoidh mé an lár sin. Agus bhí mé géirí scéalachar le daoine eile DTA freisin. Bhí sé sin tábhachtach.
Bhí tú ag géirí sin ón dús?
Ón tús, yeah.
Ach fóstúir tú go raibh tú Leigh tríd agus...
Oh no, Leigh tríd nuair dahan mé go raibh siad uthach, ach ón tús bhí sé déireach. So.
Fág mé sin é Béidir, mar sin. Cloughjordan sa rééis am rí.
Gur míle maithagad.
Agus go náirí leat a todhchaí. Agus na scéalta eile tá scríbhfad agus na scéalta tá le teacht. Gur míle maithagad éileog as bheith an seo.
Okay, Kirkler, Nishal Béarla. So, Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Elizabeth from Sheelagh Nn Gig bookshop in Cloughjordan. We are extremely happy to welcome here today the author Annemarie Nugent and the actor Bríd Ní Chumhaill for this event on Sceál agus an Scríbhneoireacht to talk about Annemarie's new novel, An Seol atá fút. So, over to you.
Annemarie, I think your book is delightful.
Thank you.
It's so
nice to hear.
exciting to have it just recently published. I'm sure you can think of nothing else these days, or can you?
It's on my mind, I'd have to admit, yeah.
Will we start with you then, rather than with the book, and tell us
Okay.
about your development as a writer?
Well, I've been writing a long time, Béarla and Gaeilge. Probably started when I was about 8. My mother would have been suggesting writing fiction. And I would have been writing in Irish and English in school, which was, apart from 3 years, I was in an all-Irish school. So stories and adventures and things like that. But I was always reading. There wasn't a lot to read for teenagers in Irish. It was sort of books for kids. I still have An t-údar a tháinig conté. And then adult books. There wasn't anything in between. It's a different world now. And I suppose I was writing for years and years and years. I was writing in my 20s. And then I kind of stopped. For a lot of reasons, but I sort of stopped doing much writing. And then I came back to teaching Irish. I was years a librarian, and I came back to teaching Irish. And as soon as I was speaking and reading Irish again, I started to write. It just came. And I went to Moneen, which is, it was 6 weekends of writing in Irish with Ray O'Leilish. And I realised that my grammar was awful, but that I loved writing again. So then I kind of upped the grammar and the spelling, and I was really lucky to get a place on the mentoring scheme that First na Gaeilge have for writers in Irish. And because of that, I had a year of a mentor, and the support that Clár na Léir Gaeilge and First na Gaeilge gave to us all, hints on marketing and ways of going about things and training and things like that. So it was a great year, and at the end of the year I won a prize for this, the manuscript version of this, with all the botúin and all the problems and all the gaps in the story. But I won the first prize for ages 13 to 15, and then started rewriting. So it was finally published a few weeks ago, and we've got what's the English for Seol? Launch. We've got the launch in Sheelagh Nn Gig bookshop, the best bookshop in the country, and that's next Sunday at 3 o'clock on the 7th of December. So here I am. I did not think I'd get to this stage.
We are thrilled you did.
Thank you.
Thrilled you did. So let's talk about the book itself. Was it your first novel?
Ooh, I started a few novels in English, drew the map that was going to go along with them for the fantasy book that I was really, really going to write, and then never wrote them. And I think there were a few false starts, but this is pretty much the first one that I really got going on. And I did a lot of work on it, and I had a lot of help and feedback for it. So I was very lucky that way.
So it's a book for teenagers,
Yeah.
with a cracking story.
Yeah.
Strong women at the centre of it. Lovely to see.
Yeah.
And challenges and successes and
There's a challenge every
difficulties.
chapter.
That's what we like, keep them turning the
Absolutely.
pages. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the story without giving it all away?
So it's two girls who meet in a a sailing week, sort of a sailing school, a week of training, and my main character, she has never got the chance to sail before, but she's very interested. They're not well off, herself and her mother, and this is it. She's getting this. It's a prize, it's a present from her mum for having done the junior cert. She's no idea how well she did in the junior cert, but you know, she's done the junior cert, and this is her present from her mother, and she's going to make the most of it. And she meets with this other girl who is very expert in sailing. Her family, her grandfather has a sailing boat, and she's been sailing since she was a child, and she's really hoping not to get an absolute Aegis in the boat with her. And she's looking at this one who's never been in a boat before and thinking, oh God. But Rihanna, my main character, is very enthusiastic and really wants to get on well and really wants to learn. And the other girl, Mala, really wants to teach, and it works out quite well. And they get on quite well, quite quickly. But there's problems. There's bullies. I realise now that I don't have many nice guys in this book. And that wasn't deliberate, it's just the way it happens. In book 2, there are some very nice guys. But we have 3 bullies in this. And the 2 trainers, they have a thing against Mala. They thought something was her fault, and they just don't trust her. So there's a lot against them, but there's a lot for them as well. They're getting a great chance to do all this sailing, and it's great fun.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the relationship between the 2 girls, or leave it to readers to find out?
Well, it's a bit. One of them is shy and gets bullied a lot in school. That's Rihanna. And the other is narky and is very standoffish in school. So the 2 of them are not used to having a friend, but they get on very well. And after a little while, you get the feeling that maybe they sort of fancy each other, but they're not quite sure. And if I say any more, I'll be giving away something towards the end. But we're not sure. Is this going to turn into more? Are they going to start going out? Or is this just a very good friendship between people who match unexpectedly very well?
Super. Tell us about the launch.
The launch is, I'm quite nervous, but the launch is going to be in Sheelagh Nn Gig bookshop. Best bookshop ever.
Every local bookshop is the best bookshop.
All independent bookshops are the greatest, but mine is greater. And they have been so supportive to writers all along. They used to harbour this writing group, and my husband was in that, and they used to be very supportive to people coming in when they still had a little cafe there, and you'd write your book and they'd feed you coffee or tea, and it's a really good bookshop. So I'm looking forward to the launch. We've had launches there before and events, and it's always great crack.
Excellent.
So 3 o'clock, December the 7th, whoever's around, everyone welcome. There'll be little bits to eat as well.
That'll be a big day.
Mulled wine, am I right?
Mulled wine.
Mulled wine, yeah.
Laura Gaeilge galore.
Yeah, it's a kind of a day for Laura Gaeilge. My publishers are coming. There's going to be so many books in Irish. Even if teenage books are not your thing, there's all sorts, from picture books up to very complicated non-fiction. So whatever you're into, Sheelagh Nn Gig has it.
Paid her to say that.
They are selling my books though, so
We are.
What time is it?
3 o'clock, 7th of December, next Sunday.
Yeah.
So, Annemarie, have you anything else in the pipeline?
I've booked 2. Towards the end, I realised there was a second book in it. So I booked 2. They're in Galway. There's a lot more. There's a new bunch of kids, different boats, and that is 2/3 written. I'm stuck on a beach just at the moment, but it's 2/3 written, and that's hopefully, you know, if this does well, maybe I'll be able to publish the second one. I also have a historical novel, again for teenagers, again based around girls, and that's set in the cholera epidemic of 1832. So again, lots of adventures and problems, things going wrong. So
Excellent. Well, I'll be looking forward to catching up with Rihanna and Mala again, and more sailing, because the world the book was set in, I really liked.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting, the nuts and
don't be
bolts
afraid
of it all.
of sailing vocabulary, because Mala is explaining it all to Rihanna. So as you read it, it'll be explained to you. Now, we have a book club in Sheelagh Nn Gig bookshop, and mine is the third book. And if you buy a ticket to be in the book club, you'll get the book and a list of vocabulary to help you for little things that might be a little bit, you know, difficult along the way.
Such as a dagger board.
Yeah.
Well, you end up feeling like you could sail a boat all by yourself if you've never even been in a boat before, because
Well, that's
it is really
nice to
well
hear,
explained.
because that was the one thing about when I was reading Swallows and Amazons when I was a kid. I felt like I'd learnt a lot from it. And I was hoping to have a little tinge of that as well. It's not a long book. It's only 113 pages. So it's not very intimidating, and I was trying to make sure that it wasn't too technical.
Yeah.
Because that could, you know, that'd turn into an info dump and your brain would turn off, and that would be a whole paragraph skipped, or maybe the book put down. So I was trying to avoid that kind
You
of thing.
managed that balance really well.
Thank you.
Do we have any simmering questions?
Well, just in terms of, we had a brief discussion about how you would translate the title.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't do all that well.
Yeah.
Because the literal translation doesn't really work in English.
No.
And in the Irish title seemed to me to actually encompass a lot of the different things that were going on in the book. But when we talked about it in English, it was actually hard to get all of that into one sentence. Now, I'm not a fiction editor. Maybe one of your fiction editors, if anyone ever options it to publish it in other languages, will have some creative ideas about it. But any ideas? Have you thought more about what you could call it, Béarla, if you needed to?
No. I mean, on Seol atá fut literally means the sail that is beneath you.
Yeah.
And metaphorically speaking, it's the direction that you're going. And I suppose that they're going towards the sailing, they're not letting bullying stop them, they're going in the direction of each other, and that's their natural direction, and they're not going to stop that either. So, sail on, yeah. Ooh, that could be a title. Thank you, Nigel. Sail on, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll have to have someone to option it as Béarla first, but we'll keep that in mind.
Yes.
I'll make a note.
Okay, great.
I felt that the...
Can we, microphone, where's the microphone go? For the Zoom.
Thanks, Jean. That's
I
nice.
just felt that the red boat was so important in that story, you know. I won't go into it because I don't want to spoil your story anyway, you know. And I'm wondering, is that it on the cover?
That is it on the cover.
It's not a laser, it's a bigger...
Going out into really bad weather that you really shouldn't go into, but you know, someone's, never mind.
She can cope with better or rougher weather than the small ones. But I just loved the way the grandfather came into the story, you know, through, you know, conversation about this and so on. And I just thought it was, again, I don't want to say too much, spoil the story, you know, but I just thought it was a lovely link, you know, and that showing of somebody's interest resurrected in such a caring and kind way. I thought that was really beautiful. So when you read it, who haven't, you know what I mean? And sorry, I didn't know the question, or it's gone. I'll have to come back to it.
Well, thank you for that. I just for those who haven't read it yet, the grandfather is suffering from dementia. And there is a moment where we meet the grandfather, and I was trying very hard to have it be as kind as possible. And again, I don't want to spoil that chapter, but I did my best with that insofar as I could. Thank you.
Sorry, I've been on the sideline for a lot of this, and I think one interesting thing you could talk about is the cover, because there was quite a bit of really intensive work put into that by yourself and by Elizabeth and Molly, I think, as well, to get that. So
And Richie.
and Richie. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So the cover, there was a bit of back and forth with the publishers about the cover, and they had sent something and we weren't sure. And I was really lucky because my own personal bookshop, which is Elizabeth and Molly and their assistant Richie, the three of them went to work and spent a whole day looking at books for that age group, looking at adventure books for that age group. And they got pictures and they downloaded pictures from books that they hadn't got, and they did a whole load of intensive work and put it together in a report and then sent it on. And that gave because I wasn't sure what I should say to the designer, and that gave the designer a lot more to go on, and they came back with this marvellous cover, which I love. So yeah, I was, and you weren't on the sidelines because you actually helped me a couple of times. This is my husband, and he helped me a couple of times with plot things. So I think I know what Nick's question is. You're asking about another illustration, aren't you?
I actually drew an early, actually drew a different version of the cover illustration.
Yeah, very early on, Nick was talking to me about what my book was, and he drew me an absolutely gorgeous little illustration of Mala and Rihanna on the boat. And unfortunately, it's not quite what they did, but...
I'm wondering, do you have it with you?
I don't have it with me. It's at home. I have it. It's absolutely precious, and I have it at home safely. But I didn't bring it with me this time, which was really stupid of me. We'll have to bring it. Yeah, I'll bring it on Sunday. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Thanks,
That's
Nick.
the cover for your next book now.
Yeah.
On the
Well, I was
cover.
thinking that maybe they would not use as the exact cover, but just as like a model for it.
Yeah, I'll find it, and in time for Sunday. I know exactly where it is, and I'll bring it with me on Sunday because I actually want to show it off.
Cool.
Yeah.
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 But for thinking of the Zoom after, for any kind of aspiring authors who were working with their first book and their first editors, if you don't like the cover, go into your local bookshop that you have cultivated a relationship with, because the cover we got, how many times have people looked at covers and gone, did they actually read the book? And there's a number of published authors in here who would know exactly what I'm talking about. And the thing is, a bad cover can kill a book. And, whatever the designers did, they followed the brief exactly, because what they produced is a fantastic version of what we told them exactly to do. But a bad cover can kill a book.
And this is a marvellous cover.
This is a marvellous cover, but what we got initially was not.
I think I probably sent insufficient information the first time.
Yeah, it could be. And,
Yeah.
they read it quickly and they threw something together. But I looked at it and there was no way a 13-year-old was going to pick it up. There was no way you could see it on the shelf. There was no way anybody would pick it up. People who looked at the cover offered anything from a philosophical tract to a self-help book to something set in the 1920s. Nothing for teenagers. Nothing. A cover needs to tell a story. A cover needs to tell a story, and there was no story in it. So we looked at all of the books that had boats on them, and we put together the brief, and told them exactly what they should do, and to be fair to them, they did it, and they came up with the wonderful font for the title as well. So, you know, don't be afraid to say the cover can be better.
And that doesn't surprise me that they did come up with another cover, because that particular design house, it wasn't in, you know, it wasn't Cloughjordan. That particular design house, I saw some other covers of theirs and they were great. So I knew they could come with something that would work, and they did, and it was it's great. I'm very lucky, and thank you. Okay.
Any more questions?
I might have just missed it. I just wanted to know, where did you learn about sailing?
Oh, Sea Rangers. Back in the 1980s, girls weren't allowed in Sea Scouts.
Yeah.
Not in our Sea Scouts anyway. But we were a Sea Ranger. Rangers is guides, Girl Guides. A Sea Ranger group attached to a Sea Scout unit. So there were Sea Rangers and Sea Ventures. And the boys were telling us, you know, this would be older people, like 15 to 18, even 20. And the boys were always telling us, why don't you come in with us? But they'd had Sea Cubs, Sea Scouts, Sea Ventures, and we kind of reckoned, we don't have that experience. We'll never put a hand on an oar again if we go in with those lads. So we didn't. So it was just girls, and we learnt a lot. I was only in that 2 years for various reasons, but I learnt a huge amount, and I loved every minute of it. And then I was on the Asgard, which has sunk since then. I wasn't on it at the time. On the Asgard for a 10-day trip out of Limerick port. And again, it was marvellous. So I've never done as much sailing as I wanted to. I've done a little bit now on Lough Derg with friends, which is great. And the other thing is that my eldest son was doing some sailing with the school when he was in primary school. And
Here?
no, on Lough Derg, yeah.
Okay.
And he used to do it in Dromineer with the Dromineer Yacht Club, and I used to watch.
Yeah.
And that's the boats that my girls are sailing, lasers.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's the same one.
And isn't it great that the Scouts now that girls can do it?
Yeah, girls are in the Scouts now as well as guides.
Certainly in my time, sailing was very elitist.
Yeah.
What was the
Wait for the,
what was the original cover that you like?
I'll show you when we go home, but it was just a little bit too abstract. I have a picture at home, so I'll show you then. Okay.
That's a question.
Congratulations, it's absolutely fabulous. I'm just wondering for your second book, because our new president, her father was a boat builder, wasn't he?
Right.
And she grew up on the sea, and I'm just wondering whether she might have a little cameo appearance, or...
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, it would be dating it now.
Interesting. I have to think about that one.
And then you could invite her to lunch.
It's great that launch is the same word for the boat and for the book. Yeah, very appropriate. In Irish and English.
Sorry, I'm back again. I'm just really wondering about Nana's father all along, you know, because I thought it was interesting. You know, you said, at one level, you said so little about him, but you showed him, if you like, especially when they were out sailing and the phone and all that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know what was in your head, because, you know, they say somebody maybe writes something, but there's a lot more in the background, in their knowledge, than what they maybe reveal.
You always create more than you write, especially with characters, that you know some of the background, you know what's going on, but you don't always say, especially in such a short book. But her father is one of these people who is focusing too much on business and a little bit inarticulate when it comes to talking to his kids, and a little bit inclined to let things go. And that's the main thing that's going on. In a way, I have always felt that there's more to happen with him and Mala's mother as well, and maybe even Rina's mother too. That there's more to it. Will I ever write it? I don't know, but maybe book 3.
Yeah.
You never know.
And yet you give a little hint that he was actually present, even though he was stuck in the phone. On
Yeah,
you know, where he
wasn't
needed to be.
completely oblivious to what they were up to.
Huh?
He wasn't completely oblivious to what they were up to.
No.
Multitasking, maybe.
We have time for one more, I'd say. At the back.
No.
No.
Do you want to talk about your short stories?
Oh, yeah. I have been writing a few short stories. They tend towards adult topics or adult stories. And I'm not sure where some of them are going. But yeah, I have a few short stories written, and one of them might be published in a collection, but that's been happening for the last 3 years, so I don't really know yet.
But you
Sorry?
You have one in core.
And I had one in Core. I forgot that I hadn't said that. Yeah, I had one published in the literary magazine Core in July, which was great. That was actually the first short story I wrote in my new writing career. Way back when I was going to Moneen, I wrote that as my application. And I sent that in, and I've lengthened and shortened and lengthened and shortened it several times over the years. And yeah, there's a longer version of it in Core now. And I have, so many plans, so many plots, short and long. I really welcome going to, I've been to Annemarie Nugent, to the Tyrone Guthrie Writing Centre. It's not just writers, it's actors, opera singers the last time I was there, dancers. There was a guy who was filming somebody on a rope down over the Cliffs of Moher doing silks. You know, you could come across all sorts of people in Annemarie Nugent, but it's a very creative atmosphere, and I find I can write a lot when I'm there. But I'm very busy when I'm at home, so not so much. I need to get a better routine.
And Father? And we make this definitely the last one.
Story has come up on Scarf Corcoran, eh?
On Scarf Corcoran, yes.
Just to say, I mean, other people might go read it. I don't want to go into it. I found the ending shocking.
Yes.
Definitely.
I was aiming at shock.
Well, you shocked me.
That was the plan.
Wait, how was it shocking?
I'll tell you when there isn't a recorder, because I don't want to ruin it in case someone's going to read it.
And hopefully it'll be published in a collection. Yeah, it deserves publication.
Well, that was a different one, but anyway.
And you said you started. Yeah, when you were speaking in Irish earlier and so on, but I got the feeling that your creativity really, it was already flowing obviously for years and so on, but nevertheless it sounded like you took off within the Irish language, albeit that you had to learn the grammar and the this and that to some extent. Would that be the case, that now is your medium?
Yes, I definitely think so. I mean, I would have been writing, because of where the class I went into an immersion class where most of the kids had actually been brought up through Irish. And we were dropped into it because they knew my mother was fluent in Irish, although my father wasn't, and that, you know, she'd manage any hiccups along the way. So I was speaking and understanding Irish quite quickly. I know that because they had to move me. I was at the front of the room beside the Moon Tour so that she could help me if I needed it, because she knew I wasn't as fluent as the others. And within weeks, I had to be moved, because every principal, teacher, parent, priest, whoever came in to have a word with the teacher, I related the information to everybody else who couldn't hear.
That's Gaeilge?
I am a natural librarian. Spreading information is my forte. So I can only conclude that I understood Irish very, very quickly, which at the age of 4 you do. If you're dropped into it, you pick it up very quickly. So because of that, I expect I was writing first in Irish, because you would start with Irish and then in senior infants maybe move on to writing in English. Of course, I was already reading in English, but I probably wrote first in Irish. And up to maybe 6th class, there probably wasn't a difference between, writing in Irish, writing in English, maybe a little bit more in English, but I would have written stories in both. And then I was kind of 6th class, first year and second year, I wasn't in an all-Irish school. And by the time I got back to secondary school in Irish, I felt I'd kind of, there was grammar and vocabulary that I hadn't picked up and that other people, and I felt a little bit behind. And then when I started speaking Irish again, back 2010, 2009, something like that, I just felt the pull of writing in Irish. Nigel has often said to me that he thinks I sound like I'm more comfortable when I'm singing in Irish than when I'm singing in English, which is another interesting thing. Yeah, it's I don't know why.
It's like going to your root, and listening to somebody like Manchán Mangan or somebody, that really is kind of awoken something in you or opened a door, even though you could have written in either.
Something like that. I don't know why, but that's what I'm doing.
Glad that happened.
Yeah. Thanks, Jean.
Thank you all so much for coming. And I know you all join me in wishing Annemarie Nugent the very, very, very best with this new book.